I haven't seen a whole lot in this spot. Did find a little skink, a couple of fancies, red-bellied snake, phoebe, and a peewee bird. And that's about it. But let's head towards the pygmy pines. So I just tried taking the vehicle through this. Not a good idea. Okay, so we're in kind of a pygmy forest right now, the dwarf pines. It's not quite what we were looking for, but it's still pretty distinctive dwarf pine forest. Check it out. I mean, they're like, what, 10, 12 feet tall? Well, more than that.
There are little birds out here you can... What the fuck are these?
Now, we are in a dwarf pine forest, or pygmy pines. And the reason why this is such a cool habitat among the pine barrens is there's not many pygmy pine or dwarf pine forests anywhere in the world, but there are several. Now, what's really cool is the fact that this is a high elevation as far as the pine barrens are concerned. We're, a couple dozen feet higher than the average altitude of the pine barrens. So what goes on in these areas, they're not entirely sure what makes pygmy pines, why they grow this way, but being higher up, the winds come screaming over the hill. So the winds are usually higher in these areas, and these pygmy pine forests actually experience twice as many forest fires as anywhere else in the pine barrens. So these places burn a lot more frequently, and you can easily tell by looking at the trunks of these trees. Those forest fires often kill out a lot of the vegetation, and it stunts their growth. Being pitch pine, these are pitch pines. These are the same trees you see soaring 80 to 100 feet into the sky in the rest of the pine barrens. But these trees here are, a dozen feet tall. And being pitch pines, they still have the crooked roots, so the roots grow off towards the side. Actually makes them more susceptible to fire, but it allows the roots to survive while the trunks of the trees are getting really hot and burning, okay? So that's pretty neat right there. You see all the pine cones? These pitch pines are covered in cones. Well, what's pretty neat is most of these cones are serotinous. Pitch pines have often produced normal cones as well as serotinous cones. And serotinous cones depend on fire in order to actually open up their scales and drop their seeds. They need a forest fire before they could drop their seeds. These trees are almost exclusively serotinous cone growth. They also have a lot of epicormic growth for the needles, which that's where the needles and stuff come right off the trunks directly. It allows them to regrow their leaves and produce chlorophyll immediately after forest fires. They capitalize on that sunlight as soon as possible. They don't have to grow whole branches and get the leaves there. So it's very characteristic. Another reason why you have these pygmy pine forests is, just like most of the pine barrens, the soils here are very nutrient poor. And, poor, they're very porous. So the moisture just immediately leaves them, especially being higher up than most of the pine barrens, right? They're very dry here, very nutrient poor, and twice as many fires, high winds. All those factors cause these pygmy pines to be stunted, even though they are still pitch pine. And it's a very surreal habitat. I'd love to see this place at night. Just like the rest of the pine barrens, there's still a lot of blackjack oaks here, some sassafras, but it's predominantly pitch pine. You have some Virginia pines and whatnot, but it's predominantly pitch pine trees. And of course, as you can see, tons and tons of huckleberry and blueberry and trademark pine barren species. There's a lot of heathers here also, and some other pine barrens undergrowth. This is a difficult area to walk through because, as you can see, all these pines are low. So I have to keep ducking, and I'm looking at the camera and I'm walking straight into branches. Finding the true dwarf or pygmy pines is proving to be a little bit more difficult than I expected. Make no mistake, these are definitely dwarf pines, and this is a pygmy pine forest. But I would love to find the 3 foot tall forest, which is around here. These ones are like a dozen feet tall, and of course around 8 feet tall. It's amazing looking. It's very quiet out here, and there's a beautiful breeze at the moment. We're probably just gonna head back and look for other stuff, but pretty neat, and I am baking.